Yeah, baby. Good morning. Get the blood pumping, man. Get the blood pumping. Get the blood going, man. Hey, Marcus Conte reporting. Marcus in the morning. Let's try a new thing, man. Marcus in the morning. Hey, man. What's up, man? What's up? Good morning, Sterling Price. Oh, man. We're getting like a regular team here. Vinny DiMartini. My wrenches are in the house. Rainer Rottenberg. This morning, everybody. Good morning. So I want to do this video today about it's perplexing to me watching the Iowa caucus, watching the Democratic primary unfold all the way out here in the future in 2020, and having witnessed it in 2016. And I'm always perplexed by the punditry, right? The punditry, not just the mainstream media punditry. That's expected. Those guys are professional liars. Politicians are professional liars. And I think we all agree on that. But what's profound to me is, and I'm not going to name names because it's not really important, but you see, like, for example, the Young Turks. They're so irate that the political class, they're so incompetent, they're so stupid, they're so fucked up. How can't they see what's going on, right? Why don't they call it out? It's not that they're not. It's obvious that they're not incompetent. They're making $6 million, $2 million, $5 million a year to what? To lie. That's the incompetence. So I stumbled on this really rather well-written article that I want to talk about. We'll look at some other stuff too. We'll look at some of the actual clips, mainstream media, just straight up lies. You know, the Russiagate shit, and of late the Iowa caucus, how the political class refused and the mainstream media refused to report the actual facts. For example, Bernie Sanders wins, right? He wins by 6,000 votes, right? That should tell you that Bernie Sanders won, regardless of some fictitious state delegate equivalent nonsense. Who won the goddamn election, right? Report it that way. But it's not in their best interest to report Bernie Sanders, right? Why? Why is it not in anybody's best interest? Let's start off with a Bernie Sanders, a feel-good. So Bernie Sanders gave a speech yesterday. He gave a talk and basically declared victory. And his people cut together this most excellent video. So give it a minute.
What I want to do today, 3 days late, is to thank the people of Iowa for the very strong victory they gave us at the Iowa caucuses on Monday night.
This is amazing, ain't it?
It's amazing, Bernie. Amazing. Look at this room. Everybody for Bernie.
Everybody's for Bernie.
Some 6,000 more Iowans came out on caucus night to support our candidacy than the candidacy of anyone else. When 6,000 more people come out for you in an election than your nearest opponent, we here in northern New England call that a victory.
Stand up if you're a first-time voter.
A victory margin of some 6,000 votes is pretty decisive. And the reason that happened is because of the unprecedented grassroots effort of our volunteers. Thousands of volunteers in Iowa knocked on hundreds of thousands of doors. They did that in the snow, they did that in the rain, and they did that in freezing temperature. And I just want to take this opportunity to thank all of those volunteers for the extraordinary effort that they made, which made our victory possible. We have the grassroots movement that wins, we have the agenda that wins. I believe that we are well positioned to win the Democratic nomination and to defeat the most dangerous president in the modern history of this country. Thank you all very much.
So there's Bernie accepting declaring victory. It was a brilliant thing. They clipped his took those clips from his speech the other day. And so did Bernie win conclusively? Is Bernie Sanders allowed to say he won? God damn it. So mainstream media, there is 100% of the vote in, allegedly. All of the votes are in, and they still have Pete Buttigieg edging out Bernie Sanders by 2 state delegate equivalents, which, again, as Bernie Sanders said yesterday and said in that clip, that it doesn't amount for anything. The state delegates don't mean anything. It's the national delegates, the 11 delegates here, 12 delegates there, the delegates that get passed on to the convention. And because it was close in terms of the way Iowa calculates the numbers, that Bernie Sanders and Pete Buttigieg are likely to get 11 each. When Bernie Sanders won the goddamn thing by 6,000 votes. So here's the actual vote. Here's the actual vote totaled in Pete Buttigieg in the first round, meaning that when people said, who would you like to vote for? 37,500 people said Pete Buttigieg, and 43,600 said Bernie Sanders. Then they were asked to reshuffle. Say, okay, well, if your candidate, if you're standing in an area where your candidate didn't get 15%, would you like to join another party, another candidate? And of those people, in that second vote, Pete Buttigieg gets 43,155 votes, and Bernie Sanders gets 45,826 votes. So on both metrics, first vote, Bernie Sanders wins. Second vote, Bernie Sanders wins. And then through some mysterious unknown algorithm, Bernie Sanders loses by a 0.1% in the state delegates. Now, there is no way to explain that. There is no statistical. How is it that you win the first, win the second? You win the first and the reshuffle, but you don't win the delegate. It doesn't make sense. Nobody understands how it makes sense. So Bernie Sanders declares victory based on what? The number of people who voted for him. Fair enough, right? So let's read this article. So this article, and just a rule of the chat. Let's make a rule of the chat. Don't be a dick. Right? If you don't want to get shut down, if you don't want to get timed out, don't be a dick. All right? Speak your case. If you have something to say it once, maybe twice if nobody heard you. When you keep repeating yourself over and over, saying the same stupid shit, that's called spam, and you're going to get timed out. All right? So again, let's don't be a dick. So this is Caitlin Johnstone. Caitlin Johnstone, excellent writer. She's been around for a while, and she wrote this amazing piece that puts her finger, his finger, whatever she is, I don't even know, on the problem that it is not incompetence that drives the political class and the media to lie. It's compensation. They know what they're doing. So let's read. So the Iowa caucus scandal has continued to get more egregious by the hour. And with new revelations routinely pouring in about extremely suspicious manipulations taking place, which all just happened to disadvantage the campaign of Bernie Sanders in the first Democratic electoral contest of the 2020 season. By the time you read this article, there will likely have been more. She's alluding to cheating, that they know what they're doing. Following the failure of an extremely shady app developed by vocally anti-Sanders establishment insiders, which reportedly were literally altering vote count numbers after they were entered, Black Hawk County Supervisor Chris Schwartz shared the election results in his county on Facebook so the public could have some idea of what's going on in Iowa Democratic Party. Slowly trickles out the results of the caucus. So this guy was in Black Hawk County, and he was the guy who counts the votes. And he said, he posted on Facebook saying that the numbers were off, that they did not, what the Iowa Democratic Party was reporting was different from what he had reported to the Iowa Democratic Party. That's called cheating. That's called fudging numbers. That's called election rigging. They were caught. They were caught doing it. And here's the statistics, right? If you look at it, here's his Facebook tweet. And you look at the numbers, right? Bernie Sanders wins. Pete Buttigieg a close second. But look down here. Deval Patrick gets 7.3% of the vote. What? Deval Patrick? Who the fuck is Deval Patrick? Nobody. He's a nobody. And they were trying to throw him 7.3% of the vote. Tom Steyer, which is a little more believable, maybe gets a percentage or two, but 5.8%. So it turns out that the guy that was supposed to count, that did count the votes and pass the votes on to the Democratic Party, said that the numbers were off. So what? So the Democratic Party got what? They got caught cheating. They got caught cheating. And then the numbers were readjusted. They said later that they were going to readjust the numbers, and those numbers, Patrick's numbers went way down, and Bernie Sanders' numbers bumped up a little, but still were not reflective of the actual numbers reported. So they're cheating right out in the open. This is all happening right out in the open. If this guy on Facebook didn't report it, then we would have never known, right? We would have never known that there was a problem. So let's listen to Caitlin go on here. Sanders supporters quickly highlighted the fact that the IDP's reported numbers for Black Hawk County were wildly different from those reported by Schwartz, with votes taken from Sanders and given to minor fringe candidates Deval Patrick and Tom Steyer. The IDP then announced that it would be making a minor correction to the last batch of results. A minor correction? You mean a correction where you stole votes from one team, gave it to the other, and now you're going to give it back? That's a correction? No, that's cheating. That's not incompetence. That's not, oops, we made a mistake. That's cheating. That is competent, professional, being paid to cheat is what that is. All right. So the IDP then announced that it would make a minor correction, blah, 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 which just so happened to be in Black Hawk County and just so happened to give Bernie Sanders back some votes, but still remained different from the report by Schwartz. So it's probable that this only happened as a result of one Black Hawk County supervisor taking to to social media to report the vote tallies for this one particular county. What all the Iowa locations were? What about all the Iowa locations where this did not happen and the local Democratic Party didn't report their numbers on social media? Does anyone actually believe that the one instance where the IDP got caught is the one instance in which vote tampering occurred? Does anybody believe that? No. No, it's of 1,700 districts, one gets caught cheating, and we're expected to believe that all of the 699 other precincts are fair and square. Only an idiot would believe that. Only a person not paying attention. I take that back. Someone sleeping, someone working very hard on their job, not paying attention would believe that. But we're here to tell you. That's what we're doing here today. That would be a very silly belief to hold, in my opinion, says Caitlin. It would be like a store clerk discovering that a can of beans is completely rotten, then going ahead and putting the rest of the pallet on the shelves under the assumption that the other cans are fine. That's a good analogy, right? It's things don't rot in isolation. They rot as a party. It's like it's systemic rot, is what she's trying to say. Another of the countless revelations hemorrhaging from the clusterfuck in a report from CNN and the New York Post that the DNC, not the IDP, is running the show in managing the Iowa caucus scandal. That means, so the Democrats, the DNC announced, Tom Perez announces, we're going to come in and save the day. We're going to fix what's going on. No, there's problems. I'll read you his tweet. Enough is enough. In light of the problems that have emerged in the implementation of the delegate selection plan, and in order to ensure public confidence in the results, I am calling on the Iowa Democratic Party to immediately begin a recanvass. So from out of nowhere, Tom Perez parachutes into the situation to save the day. Now, what is Tom Perez really doing? Right? Think back to 2016 when the Democrats got caught cheating and they blamed Russia. Right? What the Democrats want to do now is that's what they do. When they get caught cheating, they come in, they parachute in, and do what? They blame the other guy for the mistake. They come in, now they'll probably say, hear them say, Bernie Sanders cheated. Or Bernie Sanders is calling for a recount. Bernie Sanders is not calling for a recount. Bernie Sanders certainly didn't cheat. Bernie Sanders, they kept their own records of the election. But that's what Tom Perez is doing. He's parachuting in not because he's trying to save the day and restore morality to the Democratic Party and the electorate. He's doing it to cover the cheat. That's what they do. They come in and they cover. It's CrowdStrike all over again. Get caught cheating, come in and lead the opposition into the ditch. Take charge. Right? The fact that Perez is calling for a recount actually is invalid because and the time for someone to do a recount or call for a recount is actually 1 day away. So I think it's today or tomorrow. Then a recount is not officially possible. But the DNC can't call for a recount. Only one of the parties one of the candidates can call for a recount. So that would have to be Joe Biden or Buttigieg or Warren or Sanders would have to call for a recount. Without one of the candidates calling for a recount, there will be no recount. And recanvassing is what they're doing already. They're just reshuffling. They're shuffling through the numbers. So anyway, this would be the same. Regarding the scandal, this means that the Democratic Party primary scandal is being managed by the same committee which orchestrated the last Democratic presidential primary scandal, and that the campaign being victimized by this scandal, that of Bernie Sanders, is the same in both cases. This would be the same DNC whose chairperson, Tom Perez, recently stacked its nomination committee with dozens of odious alt-centrist establishment insiders who are ideologically opposed to Sanders in every meaningful way. I have that sheet. I don't know where it is. Let's see. I had it a second ago. But anyway, the Bernie Sanders people, right? The people who they stack the Tom Perez is the chair of the DNC, and he gets to pick who he's going to bring in to the DNC rules committee, the blah 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 committee, the other committee, all these committees. They pick people like fucking Podesta, right? John Podesta's on the list, right? It's just the most crude mofos that you can imagine. I just don't. I can't remember their names offhand. But the Democratic National Committee, Tom Perez, has nominated dozens of lobbyists, corporate consultants, think tank board members, and former officials linked to the presidential campaign of Barack Obama and Bill and Hillary Clinton to serve on the Democratic National Convention. It's a total rig. It's a total fucking rig, right? They're rigging it. So there's more. So we'll watch some videos in a second. We'll watch some of the actual lying in action. Are these scandalous revelations? As these scandalous revelations continue to emerge, I don't see anyone online expressing surprise that the Democratic establishment is once again stacking the deck against Sanders. But I do see some people expressing surprise that they are being so brazen about it, which is perfectly understandable. If this party wants to screw over progressive voters, they'd expect that they'd at least try to hide it a little bit, so they don't alienate their progressive base before November. That's what you would think. The flaw in this expectation is its premise that the Democratic Party elites care if their party wins in November. They do not. They do not care if they win in November. And I've been saying this all along. They'd rather lose to Bernie, and then they'd rather win with Trump than win with Sanders. They'd rather win with Trump, right, or lose, in their case, lose to Trump, which is a win for them. They'd rather lose to Trump than win with Bernie Sanders, someone in their own party looking to give power back to the people. Right? That's what the Democrats are about. Put yourself in the shoe. Here, this is great. Put yourself in the shoes of one of the leading movers and shakers within the Democratic Party for a minute. Pretend you're getting a nice paycheck. Pretend you're getting great health care benefits. Pretend you're getting plenty of prestige and exclusive access and invitations to classy parties. And pretend you're the type of person who's willing to manipulate and deceive and kiss up and kick down to do whatever it takes to get to the top of such a structure. Now ask yourself, if you were such a person in such a situation, would you care if voters picked Donald Trump or Pete Buttigieg in November? Would you care? Would it affect your cushy lifestyle in any way whatsoever? Would you lose your job, your privilege, or your influence? No party elites lost those things in 2016. Why would you expect this time to be any different? You see, they're not incompetent. They know what they're doing, is the point. You might be at risk of losing your cushy lifestyle if a forcefully anti-establishment progressive movement gets off the ground and takes control of your party. So you'd stand everything to gain by doing everything you can to prevent that from happening. And because you don't care if Trump gets reelected, you'd stand absolutely nothing to lose. This is the mindset of the Democrats right now. Pay attention. These people do not care if Trump gets reelected because they lose nothing if he does. The only people who stand anything to lose are the ordinary citizens who are suffering under a corrupt status quo of soul-crushing neoliberalism and increasing authoritarianism. I don't know if I agree with the authoritarianism, but I get her point. Many of whom currently support Sanders. Democratic Party elites are perfectly happy to keep shrieking about Russia for another 4 years while making sure that the status quo, which rewards their manipulative behavior, remains intact, and ensuring that they never wind up like those poor suckers out there who are suffering from poverty and a lack of health care. Wow, what a revelation. All right, do you believe it? Do you agree with it? I sure do. I sure do. And everything I said is equally true of the media class, who currently work in conjunction with the DNC shenanigans to spin Pete Buttigieg as the clear winner of the party's first presidential electoral contest. They enjoy all the same perks and move in many of the same circles as the Democratic Party elites. And it's all conditioned on the protection of the status quo. You know, if I were handing out Pulitzers, I would give it to Caitlin Johnstone for this, because this is really good. Right? So I keep seeing the words incompetent thrown around. Here's where she starts to wrap it up. Gosh, these Democratic Party leaders are so incompetent. And they say, how can anyone be so bad at their job? Well, they are not bad at their job. They are very, very good at their job. It's just that their job isn't what most people assume it to be. Their job is not to go out and report the news. Their job is to echo the billionaire messaging, right? Pete Buttigieg won. Why? Because Bernie Sanders has to go. He can't win. They can't have this shit. We can't have Bernie Sanders, the socialist, guy fighting for the people. We can't have that shit. We got to get a status quo stooge in there, like a Pete Buttigieg. Right. So that's what their job is. Their job is to shut it down. Their job is not to win elections and garner public support. Their job is to ensure the perpetuation of the status quo, which rewards them so handsomely for their malignant behavior. Towards this end, they are not incompetent at all. They know exactly what they're doing, and they're doing it well. Nigga. It's very, very eye-opening. It's very, very truthful what she's saying. They are extremely competent, deprived, certainly, sociopathic, possibly, but not incompetent. Right? So now when you see, the guys like, the Young Turks or the other kid, Kyle Kalinske, and the guys, they're so irate. Oh my God, I can't believe fucking Don Lemon said that shit. I can't believe how fucking stupid, you see Cenk Uygur like this. How fucking stupid are these politicians to do that? What's wrong with you Democrats? No, they know what they're doing. That's the problem. The joke's on you. They're happy to make their nefariousness look like incompetence, though, whenever they can get away with it. Any manipulator worth their salt always will be. If they can make their deliberate acts of sabotage look like innocent little oopsies, they'll gladly do so. But you learn in life that whenever you see someone making a lot of mistakes, which just so happens to benefit them every time, you're dealing with manipulation, not incompetence. Everybody thinks that the steal is a big steal. It's a big ripoff. Bernie Sanders wins and then just say, no, you didn't win. No, it's a compilation. Cheating is a compilation of many, 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 many small moves. Little moves like stack the stage with 10 jerk-offs, right? All saying the same, just clouding out the message, right? Too many candidates, right? Shut down polling places. Eliminate exit polls. Manipulate the numbers like you're seeing here, right? Manipulate the media, right? To say that Bernie Sanders didn't win, Pete Buttigieg win. The loser won and the winner lost. Right? They're all small moves. They're actually rather big moves, but they're in contrast, I guess, they're small moves. It's a compilation of small moves. Right? So what do the bad guys say in the movies when they order someone's murder? They say, make it look like an accident. If it's an accident, you've got no trouble. You won't be seen for what you are. But of course it's no accident, and anybody with clear eyes and good intentions sees it. If you see someone working hard to make you believe that it's incompetence. You are dealing with someone who is invested in manipulating the status quo in the same way. You are being manipulated. A better word is gaslit, where they keep repeating the same lie over and over again. And again, put yourself in the position. You live on the Upper West Side. You're Rachel Maddow. You're getting $6-8 million a year. You hang out at the lesbian bar at night. Everybody loves you. You don't even get on the subway anymore. You walk out of your luxury condo on Upper West Side. You step into your Uber or your private coach. Takes you to the lesbian bar. You sit there and you're, oh, how famous you are, and everybody loves. Oh, look, it's Rachel Maddow, and she's sipping drinks with a lesbian. It's a lesbian. Ooh, smoke a little doobie, right? A little licky in the back room, right? She's having a good time, right? You think she wants to fucking give that up? What's wrong with you, man? Put yourself in that position. If you're a billionaire, a millionaire lesbian, right? You show up, and then your car in the morning takes you down to MSNBC. Oh, good morning, Miss Maddow. Good morning, Mrs. Maddow. Good morning, Miss Asshole. Good morning. And they kiss her ass and they lick her ass, and right, she's living large. People don't want. And then she walks in, and there's some bullshit up on the screen like a wolf blitzer, and they just fucking read it off. This is what we're talking about today. I think I had a thought, Rachel says to herself. I think I had a thought. I'd like to talk about this. And someone comes in and says, no. We're going to talk about what's going on now. And if you like your job and you like your status and you like your arrangement in life that we gave you and we pay for, and you read from the fucking prompter. Right? And that's the reality of it. Right? That's the reality. So they're the filter. They're in between us and the truth. That's what Rachel Maddow does. That's what she's paid to do. Did she start out that way? No, I don't think so. Rachel Maddow they all start out innocent and then slowly compromise themselves by taking the money. So, but of course the system isn't broken in finality. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly the way it's intended to work. It ain't a bug. It's a feature. And that feature will remain in operation until the entire sick system is torn down and replaced with something healthy. Damn shit right, man. Damn right. You got to tear it down, right? So thank you, Kaylin Johnstone, man. There's a little link here. If you click on it, you can sign up for her email responses, her email send out. So I just signed up for it. So what else can we look at? So let's look at, here's the list, right? So here's all the pay for play people that Tom Perez stacked the deck with. Now I don't know all the names, but look right away. Barney Frank, Dennis, these are all Obama people. They're all Hillary Clinton people. All right, John Podesta's in there. Barney Frank, the money grabber. Come on. I don't know who all these people are, and I'm not going to go. Other commentators have all. Jimmy Dore did a great job of picking who these people are apart. But you have John Podesta in there. Look at the names if you want to. But there's no progressive people. There's no Bernie Sanders people in there. None of them. Zero. It's a total coup. So let's look at some of the lying. Are we making it up? How we doing in the chat, man? How we doing? Don't be a dick. Alex Conte reporting here. So what's up, man? So that was a good article. Let's look at Bernie is in on it. Come on, fuck you. Bernie is not. That's why they say you keep saying the same stupid things over and over again. Bernie Sanders is an honest broker. You idiot. You idiot. Bernie Sanders is in on it. No, Bernie Sanders is trying to jockey himself around a very corrupt system, Steve Zofritz. I see you on all these other threads saying the same bullshit. I'm not going to block you. You say the same stupid things over and over again. Bernie Sanders is the honest broker. What is fucking wrong with you? I get caught up in the comments. So here's Chuck Todd, his sleepy eye Chuck.
Welcome to Thursday. It is Meet the Press Daily. Good evening. I'm Chuck Todd here in Washington for a few days. So if you thought the situation for Democrats out of Iowa couldn't get any more chaotic, you'd be wrong. After their longtime national frontrunner Joe Biden acknowledged Iowa was a gut punch to his campaign, this afternoon, the head of the Democratic Party, DNC Chair Tom Perez, called on the Iowa Democratic Party to immediately begin recanvassing the results. A bit of a head-scratching announcement this late because Iowa Democrats are doing exactly that, recanvassing the results. That's how they're getting the results.
So what I told you before is that the reason why Tom Perez is parachuting into the situation, the observation here is that why isn't Chuck Todd able to see it or say it? That Tom Perez is interfering in the process. That's what he's doing, right? They see this cheating going on. Where is Chuck Todd talking about the cheating that we just talked about? They're not talking about it, right? They ignore the cheating and then look to Tom Perez as a savior of some sort without calling out the reason why he's doing it. It's fucked up.
The DNC is the one working with them on this project. More important than that, though, is the message this potentially sends. The head of the party is telling Democrats with just 5 days to go before New Hampshire, don't trust the results out of Iowa, even the ones you're seeing right now. Now, you can bet some Sanders and Buttigieg supporters are going to view this with a bit of suspicion. With nearly all of the results now in, according to the Iowa Democratic.
So all of the results are now in, but why is Pete Buttigieg still first and Bernie Sanders is still second based on these numbers are off? The numbers are off. It's on their own merit. It's 6.1 and 6.2, not 6.0. And right, so again, it's just stacking the deck and not calling out the corruption.
Party's tabulation. Buttigieg has the razor-thin lead over Sanders in the state delegate equivalents, which actually counts. This afternoon, though, Bernie Sanders declared victory in Iowa.
You see how he can't even say it, the state delegates counts? They can't even say it with a straight face because they know the truth that Bernie Sanders slaughtered the field in the popular vote.
Based on the raw votes of who first came to the declared victory in Iowa.
Listen to him. Listen to the way he phrases it. Listen.
Based on the raw votes of who first came to the caucuses. Take a listen.
So what I want to do today, 3 days.
He talks about, the point is, he says that the raw vote of the people who first came to the election. It's the fucking popular vote. It's how many people came and voted for Bernie Sanders. Can't you say that? The popular vote, how many people came to vote for Bernie Sanders outweighs Pete Buttigieg by 6,000. That's not an important figure to talk about.
Late is to thank the people of Iowa.
It's not incompetence is what we're trying to get to. This is not incompetence. This is gaslighting. This is professional liars.
For the very strong victory they gave us at the Iowa caucuses on Monday night. Our campaign is winning the popular initial vote by some 6,000 votes. In other words, some 6,000 more Iowans came out on caucus night to support our candidacy than the candidacy of anyone else. A victory margin of some 6,000 votes is pretty decisive.
And that's it. Watch his response. Watch his response like this, just a tooth suck. Watch his
decisive.
And with the party still mired in Iowa caucus chaos, we've got new numbers out of New Hampshire.
See, the other thing Sleepy-Eyed Todd is doing is the media is attacking Iowa caucus. There's nothing wrong with the Iowa caucus. They've been doing it for 100 years, right? You pick a candidate. If your lesser candidate doesn't get through the hoop, you pick another candidate. The system works. Right? It's the cheating that doesn't work. They're cheating. They're putting in an app that cheat and try to get everybody sleeping. That's the problem. So vilify Iowa, vilify the process, vilify Bernie Sanders, who actually won. But don't vilify the fact, right, that that you're actively trying to manipulate the numbers to prop up the moderate, right? Who is now Pete Buttigieg. That's all they have, because Joe Biden he couldn't get 100 people in an auditorium, and now he's losing bad. All right, so now their new prop is going to be Pete Buttigieg. But you see the series of manipulations. I mean, it really is clear as day.
Signaling more problems, by the way, for Joe Biden. According to a new Monmouth poll out this afternoon, Sanders is at the top of the pack. Buttigieg is close behind within the poll's 4-point margin of error. Bottom line, Iowa is basically a tie.
Right there, he made a mistake. You heard him say it? Right there, Iowa's a tie. They're not talking about Iowa. They're talking about New Hampshire. So what he's trying to say here now in New Hampshire, which is basically inaccurate if you look at it. I'll show you the polls are Bernie Sanders in New Hampshire is slaughtering the field. Is absolutely slaughtering the field. Now, I again, because Pete Buttigieg, they cheated in Iowa, Pete Buttigieg appears to be getting some kind of bump. But here, 32-23. Here, Sanders 24-20. Sanders 25-19. Sanders 31-21. All right, so here you see, again, he's picking out. They're picking out they're cherry picking a poll to look at, and say they're even because the statistical margin of error is 4%. So because Bernie Sanders is winning by 4%, that means it's even. It's a tie. It's a tie. All right? And then he misspoke. He misspeaks by calling it Iowa, not New Hampshire.
The poll's 4-point margin of error. Bottom line, Iowa is basically a tie.
Iowa's basically a tie. What he meant was New Hampshire's basically a tie. Now, is that an accident? Is that a slip of the tongue? Probably not. It's just more confused the fucking issue. Watching, oh yeah, Iowa's. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Yeah, it sounds good. Pete Buttigieg is winning.
Sanders is emerging as the top candidate in the progressive wing of the party. Pete Buttigieg right now the leading candidate in the moderate wing of the party. And Joe Biden looks to be fading as we approach New Hampshire. Hello, YouTubers. If you're watching this.
So voting, a comment. Voting is an illusion. You're only voting for your slavery. Right. All right. So when your master tells you that to vote in people of power, people that represent you, tell you that it's a sham and a ripoff, and you should go home and not vote and not participate, you are the slave, jerky. You are the slave, not the other way around. The people that believe in the Constitution, that believe in the American way, believe in open, free, and fair elections. And slaves like you who say there's nothing you can do, it's all slavery, are fucking wrong. You got to participate. I don't agree with these folks out there. There's a lot of people out there, oh, it's the left-right paradigm, and how foolish you are to believe that you're voting for one and the other, and it's and nothing will ever change. You're so stupid and so naive, and you're such a slave. Oh, you're the fucking slave, right? You don't believe that change could occur. You don't believe in people. You don't believe in truth or honesty prevails over evil and greed. Well, then keep listening, I guess. Thanks for sharing, because it's fucking stimulating.
It means you've checked out our channel, so thank you. Now do me a favor, subscribe by clicking on that button down there. Click on any of the videos.
So this jack off. So we saw one jerk off. Let's keep looking at the jerk offs. So here's another clip I pulled. Great. You're unsubscribing? Good. So you know what? I'll help you. I'll help you, and I will hide you from the channel. You don't have to announce yourself leaving. Just let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. So this is live chat, live interaction, combat chat. Somehow Mayor Pete still gets the win over Bernie Sanders. This is an interesting clip. This is just case studies. So here's Don Lemon and Andrew Cuomo's, the mayor of New York's brother, Chris Cuomo, Fredo.
And it's literally almost almost a tie. I mean, 26.1% for Sanders, 26.2% for Buttigieg. But listen, no matter how...
Right? So it's almost a tie. They never look at the actual numbers. That's 6,000 more votes for Sanders. Never talk about it.
Even if you get 100% in and Mayor Pete Buttigieg comes out second, that's an accomplishment for him, basically an upstart in the political business, especially when it comes to being on a stage.
This is called actively promoting Buttigieg. That's what he's doing. He's actively promoting. Yeah, it is interesting that the guy got so many votes, but you can't declare him the winner. And it is an aberration because it's only one state.
Even if he comes in second, still a win for him. But
how is it still a win? It's just...
But is he going to get the bump from it?
Is he going to get the bump from it? Yeah, he already got the bump from it. That was the point. Prop him up with 60% of the vote in, declare him the winner, and he got his bump. He got his 4% bump in the polls. Cheating.
Well, he got a little bit of a bump. The state party cheated him out of the bump, cheated Bernie out of the bump. Bernie Sanders, strong in Iowa, huge in the popular vote.
Right.
That's honest.
Even if he splits the SDE, the delegate count with Buttigieg, and now we'll see in New Hampshire, Bernie may come out and reinforce his strength. But, you and I, we were good with Buttigieg coming out and saying he won. We believe that, fortune favors the bold, and a lot of people were criticizing him. He wound up being right, because whether he splits it or he comes out a little bit ahead, it was a huge win for him in terms of perception and optics. Now the challenge is, can he make it solid here in New Hampshire?
Yeah, but listen, two things. One, when he came out, he gave such a soaring speech. I had people walking up to me saying, "Wait a minute, is Pete Buttigieg?"
Now he keeps keeps selling it, right? Overcome the obstacle, right? Don't even listen to what Chris Cuomo just said. Now keep selling it, Don Lemon.
He's the president now, jokingly, because it's such a big soaring speech, and actually he did really well. It was a really nice speech. But Bernie Sanders, I mean, if you look at it, it's 97%. It's, that 0.1. Bernie could still win, but still, I still believe, though, it's still a win for Mayor Pete, considering where he's come from.
It's still a win for Mayor Pete. Okay, Don Lemon, that's what they're saying. So let's go back in time, right? Let's look at the bigger lie. Remember Russiagate? Here's Rachel Maddow, right? Again, I gave you the example of Rachel Maddow earlier. And here she is, spinning her Russia's story, right? Watch. This is back in time, March 8, 2017. This is 3 months after Trump took office. And now they're trying to get him.
Politico reports tonight that U.S. investigators, including the FBI, are looking into a Russian citizen in conjunction with one of the incidents on the Trump campaign last year, which defied explanation at the time. Dramatic news tonight from Politico.com. This incident that happened last summer on the Trump campaign, it was one of the first direct signs that we had that something strange was up in the Trump campaign when it came to the issue of Russia. It's an incident that came to light during the Republican National Convention. Just in the last few days, the explanations around this strange incident that happened during the convention, just in the last few days, the explanations have started to unravel. We're getting some insight into why tonight.
Now, you think about how Russiagate got started, right? First, it was a lie by the Democratic Party. It was John Podesta, it was Hillary Clinton, it was Robbie Mook. It was June, July, September, well, actually April, May, June of 2016. It was a full, many months before this actually happened when those characters said that Russia hacked the DNC, right, to steal they got caught cheating. Again, CrowdStrike comes in, blames Russia, right, for the stealing. So the assumption was that Hillary Clinton, now that they defeated Bernie Sanders and Bernie Sanders didn't fight back, Hillary Clinton was a grand slam, was going to win the presidency. And when she lost, they took the Russia story and dumped it on Trump's head. And here's Rachel Maddow spinning that story, right? Did any logical, and of course we know now, it's 2020, it's all these years later, we know the whole thing was a farce, that there was no hack. There was no GRU agent swooping in. It was all a fucking It was all bullshit, right? But here's Rachel Maddow spinning it. Again, the point of the thread. Is it incompetence, or is she fully aware of what she's doing?
The person who is reportedly under FBI scrutiny is a joint Russian-Ukrainian citizen. He apparently worked as a top staffer to Donald Trump's former campaign manager, Paul Manafort. He worked with Paul Manafort in Ukraine while Paul Manafort was managing the political fortunes of that country's pro-Vladimir Putin dictator. Now, this guy, again, this is being reported by Politico tonight.
And we remember this. This is Rachel Maddow trying to frame Paul Manafort as a spy related to Trump.
After Manafort was given a senior position in the Trump campaign. He came last spring during the height of the Republican presidential.
The point is that that YouTube is we have a documented history now of all of these blunders, right? Of all of these lies. That's what they are. They're lies, right? Now, is Rachel Maddow fully cognizant of what she's doing? Is she doing it? Is there the problem is that there's nobody around her, that she's been isolated into a bubble, $6 million a year. Like I said earlier, she lives in a very secluded area in the Upper West Side. She has all the advantages that some people couldn't even imagine how smooth her life is. And there's nobody to tell her, by the way, what you're saying about Russia is fucking ridiculous. That the majority of the people don't care about it. They care about health care for all. They care about jobs. They care about, decreasing the military-industrial complex so that we stop these wars. That's what the regular people care about. But she doesn't see it. Because life is good, man. She was struggling, you know what I'm saying? She was scratching her way up the ladder. She made it. And then once made, she took the money. So I guess here's one more. This is an interesting one, CBS, right? If you look, CBS actually gave Pete Buttigieg 26.1 and Bernie Sanders 26.1. But why is the senior senator from Vermont, Bernie Sanders, the distinguished gentleman from Vermont, with world fame and won the primaries last year, why is he second and Pete Buttigieg first? Why did they list with the same exact numbers? Why is Pete Buttigieg the rookie in front of Bernie Sanders? Right? It's just optics. If you look quick, you say, "Oh, Pete Buttigieg, he's winning." Right? When you know what I'm saying. So just the quick optics
are now in, with the state's Democratic Party reporting 100% of precincts. Pete Buttigieg has a slight edge over Senator Bernie Sanders when it comes to state delegates. Both hold about 26%. But in raw numbers, Buttigieg has 2 more delegates. However, in terms of the final choice vote, Sanders has a slight lead over Buttigieg. They are followed by Senator Elizabeth Warren, former Vice President Joe Biden, and Senator Amy Klobuchar.
Now, there's the other statistic. All right, now you're putting Bernie Sanders up front, but this was the final choice. And clearly, Bernie Sanders has a 2,500-point lead on Pete Buttigieg. And that was the final choice, the reshuffle. But if you looked at the first numbers, the numbers are even more ridiculous, where Bernie Sanders has 42 and Pete Buttigieg has 36. I blew him away.
CBS News 2020 campaign reporter Adam Bruce.
Now listen to this. Listen to this child try to explain the political scenario based on what we know, just watching this video over the last, half hour.
Now he's in Des Moines, Iowa. Hi, Adam. So, of course, we understand there still could be a recount or a recanvass if a campaign asks for it. But can you help us break down the numbers as we now have them?
So as we now have them with 100% in, former South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg has a slight edge over Senator Bernie Sanders in terms of state delegate equivalents. That is how Iowa will award its 41 national delegates, which go to the convention. For some perspective, you need a little under 1,991 pledged delegates to secure the nomination. So
right there, he's mixing up 2 facts. Listen to what he's saying. He's deliberately mixing up the facts that you need 1,900 delegates at the national convention, and he's mixing it up with the state numbers. Listen to it again. I caught it because I listened to it before. Listen to it again.
Former South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg has a slight edge over Senator Bernie Sanders in terms of state delegate equivalence. That is how Iowa will award its 41 national delegates, which go to the convention.
Incorrect. That is incorrect. Those numbers, the state delegates, don't represent the national stage.
For some perspective, you need a little under 1,991 pledged delegates to secure the nomination. So just a drop in the bucket in terms of the delegates that you can win coming out of Iowa. And then
He's saying that the state delegates are what get passed on to the national convention. False.
Had Senator Sanders with a lead in terms of the final choice popular vote over South Bend Mayor, or former South Bend Mayor Buttigieg. Part of that comes from the way it works in these rooms, where you can max out your number of delegates, even if you have, certain more people there than others. You can kind of run up the score in terms of a popular vote in areas without necessarily increasing your delegate total.
Total gibberish.
So close between Sanders and Buttigieg, though, really neck and neck. And do we know yet then how this will sort of break down those 41 state delegates, or is that still being determined?
That's still being sorted out.
The 41 state delegates. You hear her say it? She doubles down on the lie.
That's still being sorted out.
One state delegates between Sanders and Buttigieg, though, really neck and neck. And do we know yet then how this will sort of break down those 41 state delegates, or is that still being determined?
41 state delegates do not exist. The state delegates are 540 and 543, whatever. Right? It's just misinformation.
That's still being sorted out, and we should hopefully get those numbers soon. But again, those 41 national delegates are just, they'll be divvied up among them. Right. And, people will be leaving Iowa with a drop in the bucket of what they'll need. Eventually, those bigger prizes.
Yeah, right. But the optics are off, right? So I just want to conclude on this note where I watched this thing yesterday, and you can watch the whole thing. It's on Bernie Sanders' YouTube page. And it says to me, I want to show you the empathy. Why is Bernie Sanders so popular? Why would he make a better president, a better figurehead in this country than Donald Trump? And when you watch this clip, it's about empathy. And he talks about I don't like when he says, Joe Biden's my friend, Elizabeth Warren's my friend. At this point, you're competing against these people. They're not necessarily your friends. You may need to be friendly with them later if you beat them. But the point is that Bernie Sanders, he expresses empathy for the people that weren't allowed on the debate stage, where Mike Bloomberg was allowed on the debate stage. Let's listen and we'll talk about it.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Senator Sanders. So Michael Bloomberg is skipping the early states. There'll be a debate tomorrow night. He won't be on the stage. Do you think it's fair that the Democratic Party altered or revised the rules to put him... Wait. Let me at least put the question all the way out.
Just give you the answer.
Even though I think you know where I'm going.
You
know where I'm going.
Okay.
Do you think it's fair that the rules are now allowing Michael Bloomberg to come in? And I'm looking at you as I see your slogan there, Bernie not the billionaire. So could you comment also on the rules?
Billionaires. Do we have an S at the end of that?
You have an S.
All right.
So could you comment not only on the debate, but on the even more money that Bloomberg is putting in the contest? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. And I knew what the question is. I was going to answer it the same way.
You got to make sure, though.
Okay. No, I think it is an outrage. Look, rules are rules. And people like Julian Castro played by the rules, campaigned really hard. Cory Booker played by the rules. Tulsi Gabbard played by the rules. Andrew Yang played by the rules. They were here in New Hampshire. They were in Iowa. They have worked really, really hard. And based on the rules determined by the DNC, they were unable to participate in one or more debates. And now suddenly, a guy comes in who does not campaign one bit in Iowa, New Hampshire. He's not on the ballot, I guess in Nevada or South Carolina, but he's worth $55 billion. And I guess if you're worth $55 billion, you can get the rules changed for a debate. So to answer your question, I think that is an absolute outrage and really unfair. And I say this because these other guys are my friends, the people like Cory Booker or Julian Castro or Tulsi Gabbard, who work really, really hard. They were excluded, but they're not multi-billionaires. That's wrong.
You know, it's just when you watch it, you say to yourself, is he campaigning? Is he going after Julian Castro and Cory Booker and Tulsi Gabbard's crowd? No. You know, a sociopath would think that that's what he's doing, but the reality is he didn't bring it back to himself. He didn't say, I played by the rules and so should little Mike Bloomberg. He was empathetic to other people who were hurt by that. Bernie Sanders is not really hurt by having a billionaire stand on stage and debate against him. It actually elevates Bernie Sanders. But he points out that the other candidates played by the rules, and because they're not billionaires and they don't have the same advantage, that they were hurt by it. It just shows an empathetic, streak to who Bernie Sanders is. So anyway, Marcus Conte reporting. I hope that was enjoyable. I had another clip here. Oh, this. So Iowa explained in one slide. This is the winner, 43,671 votes. This is the losers, 37,557, 32. Actually, what's interesting is Warren was actually closer to Buttigieg than Buttigieg was to Sanders. Right? They're actually all equally divided. But again, the media wants to go after Sanders, drag Sanders down to Buttigieg, rather than, how about dragging Warren up to Buttigieg? Why didn't they go in that direction? Right? It's just food for thought. You know what I mean? So anyway, Marcus Conte reporting. Take you out, man. Have a good day, man. So tonight is the Democratic primary debate. Democratic primary debate, and they are somewhere. I forgot where they are, and they will be on stage. Oh, they're in New Hampshire. Excuse me. They're in New Hampshire. Long threads. My brain starts to fry out. But they're in New Hampshire, and tonight from 8 to 11, 3 hours, 8 to 11 tonight will be the Democratic debate in New Hampshire, and it's all the usual suspects. It's Bernie Sanders, it's Elizabeth Warren, Tom Steyer, Joe Biden, Buttigieg, Amy Klobuchar, and Andrew Yang. So 7 people on stage. Crowded stage, but they're giving them 3 hours. So that should be very interesting. I'll do probably a walk and talk tomorrow morning and check it out. Maybe jump in live. I don't know. You can't live stream that because if you're live streaming, it crashes because, I don't know, because it's copyright or something, some shit like that. So anyway, man, so tell them to take you fucking guys out, man. See you guys later.
Hold tight tonight.